This week I want to introduce you to the Rhode Island PBS Foundation Scholarship Award winner. Alison McCadden is the valedictorian at Narragansett High School. I had a chance to sit down with her. Allie is going to be going to the Medill School of Journalism, one of the premier schools at Northwestern University in the fall. I had a chance to talk to her about her plans. My first question was, why journalism?
I didn't really know I wanted to do journalism from the get-go. It kind of, the passion kind of formed over time. I took a lot of social studies classes. I just loved history and politics and loved learning about current events. And I've also always loved writing. So during about my junior year, I thought about journalism, and it just kind of made sense for me because I felt like I could combine all of those different interests and passions into kind of like one general field of study.
So you go to a pretty small high school.
Yes.
Not a lot of opportunity, and you don't have a newspaper there. So
Right.
What did you do?
About the same time that I decided I wanted to do journalism, I called a bunch of local newspapers, and I eventually got an interview with the Jamestown Press, and I started just writing news articles for them from the get-go. So the editor would kind of just give me an assignment and say, go interview this person, and I would. And it was a really great experience to kind of just get to like go out and explore and kind of learn all the different ways that I can get involved in journalism. So it was really cool.
That's about as local as it gets, right?
Yeah,
Jamestown?
yeah.
What did you like best about it?
I really liked meeting all different people. I didn't really spend a lot of time in Jamestown before that, but I got to go to a few town council meetings. I got to interview all different types of people. So it was cool to see. It was like applying my love for journalism onto such like a smaller scale level, which was really cool.
The larger picture is journalism is really facing some challenges now.
Yes.
And you know, locally they're having a hard time making it work monetarily. On the national front, people have taken some criticism for opinions seeping in. And so it's gratifying for me kind of on the back end of my career to see you going into journalism. But what about those challenges? Is that daunting at all for you as you think, wow, this is a field that could be tough to get into?
Yeah, I think journalism is such a changing industry, like you said, and that's exciting, and it's also a little intimidating, but for the same reason, because I think journalism is different right now than it was 4 years ago, and it's going to be different 4 years from now when I graduate. So I'm just really looking forward to kind of learning all the ins and outs of the industry and kind of growing and evolving with the industry as it also does.
And there's so many parts. You have print, you have broadcast,
Yep.
which we're doing now, there's radio, there's digital, and you have to be kind of a utility player. Is there anything specifically out of those that you like, or do you think you'll figure that out when you get to college?
A little bit of both. I think you don't really have to choose right away which path you want to go down. The Northwestern program kind of is set out so that you can explore all different areas and kind of choose in the later years of the program. But I'm really interested in multimedia. Maybe I could go into podcasts or documentary or some other type of multimedia journalism or online. Obviously, the print side is kind of dying away, I guess you could say, but I'm really excited to get involved into the more multimedia side.
Northwestern is a very tough ticket. How
Yes.
did you hear about their journalism school?
So honestly, before around this time last year, I had never heard of Northwestern. But once I decided I wanted to do journalism, I just did a quick Google search, and Northwestern was one of the first schools that came up for me. And as I went on their website and I looked at all of these different opportunities they had, it was really just like a blaring signal for me, like, apply to this school, like there's so many great opportunities for you. So that's kind of how I decided to apply.
What do you think your biggest strength is that you bring to the field of journalism?
I would say my biggest strength would just be being able to step outside of my comfort zone. It wasn't always that way. When I started off high school, I was more like quiet and didn't really like being outside my comfort zone.
I'm humbled and honored to be standing in front of you as a valedictorian to represent and celebrate the NHS class of 2020.
But I think that's like where the biggest growth has happened for me. I think whenever I step outside my comfort zone and do something that makes me uncomfortable, it always pays off. So I would say that's one of my bigger strengths.